Why $100,000? So I've been doing this practice every morning for only a handful of days, but it's already bearing fruit, where you set your goal in mind by writing it at the top of a blank sheet of paper, and then you come up with 20 ideas for how that you can increase service with that goal in mind. And so I've got this goal, except as I said, not a goal. This is happening. Well, to vibrate at that level, I've got to increase my service. So that's the practice, is come up with ideas. Now, I've never said it like this before. I've never done it with this kind of like affirmative energy of I am making $100,000 by the end of this year. But still, not like you wave a wand and it shows up. You've got to vibrate at that level. You've got to provide that level of service. So there I am, last few days, because it's a new practice with the sheet of paper. I am making $100,000 by the end of the solar year, by the solstice. That will be more money in 6 weeks than I have ever made in a year. So I need to provide service at a higher level. That's the practice. 20 ideas to increase your service with that goal in mind. And this morning, I said, well, you shout it from the rooftops. There's a whole array of things that I'm doing here in announcing this challenge publicly, because I'm calling it a challenge, because from your perspective, I guess it is. From my own perspective, I guess it is, in that the money's not yet in my bank account. So it doesn't matter how much I say that this is reality, this is what's happening. This is about changing your life for the better. We get this, yeah? Okay, cool. So this $100,000 and the way I'm talking to you about it, there's a lot wrapped up in this. Finally putting the last piece together after 11 years of practice of what it means to serve at this level. Some of this comes from ideas that I have been guided towards since I was a teenager, I guess, and maybe on some level earlier still. This through line about abundance, this thing that started as a playful little joke game and became my fundamental understanding of the world, which is that there is enough for all of us. And I'm going to prove it to you. And I'm going to show you different ways of thinking about money. And that's part of what's going on here. And me saying to you the $100,000 part is part of the value itself, is part of what I'm trying to communicate to you. And we'll be explaining over time, because it's a little complicated. If you practice something really assiduously for 11 years and you learn a bunch of stuff, it's not always the easiest to figure out how to encapsulate that. So I'm working on that. That's what I'm doing here, okay? So I may not be perfect, but you aren't either. So part of the value is to talk about the money itself, to put the number in front of you, to make you a participant in this journey. And how am I going to communicate that this is happening? I'm going to show you the money. I mean, not in like a bathtub full of dollar bills, but like, here's my accounts going up. Because one of the things we got to do is stop being ashamed about wanting more money. This has been a hard one. This has been a hard one for me. I've been teaching it to others without fully embodying it, because a lot of people that I'm speaking to as they go into business, they're like, all I need is to just make enough to get by. That's all. It's not a lot. I've learned that it's not a lot. I learned that. I've got friends who've said the same thing. What I say to them is, if your mission is big enough, if you are coming at this to try to make the world a legitimately better place, you can do more with more resources. There is nothing to be ashamed of. You can do more with more resources. And if you are here to make the world a better place, to provide a solution that is positive sum, where everybody wins, then there is nothing to be ashamed of in saying, I can do more with more resources. So this $100,000 number is because more than that seemed impossible to me. More than that, I just wasn't ready for. Like, I can be here right now, look into camera one and say, I could do a lot more with $1 million than I could do with 100,000. But I'm not ready to play at that level. I will be soon, and you'll get to watch it. But $100,000, more than I've made in a whole year in the past, I'm going to make in 6 weeks because I know how to do it now. And I'm going to show you. The showing is part of the value, and the declaring is part of the value. And also explaining the why is part of the value, because a lot of us struggle with some number above which we think only bad people have that kind of money. I'll tell you what, I think 100 billion, you got more than that, probably bad, only bad people. With our current system, I don't think anyone good got over 100 billion, but I'm not saying it's impossible. $1 trillion, Elon Musk, frig you, bro. There is no way you're worth that. We're coming back. This subject, we're not done with, Elon. $1 trillion, please. But $1 billion, I'm going for $1 billion. I could do a lot with $1 billion. But first, I got to learn what it's like to do a lot with $100,000. And that's the point. Right now, at my current level of vibration, like, I run these cameras myself. I start the audio myself. I edit. I'm a one-man show right now. But I could do more with more resources. Part of what you have to learn as you vibrate at this higher level is how to use resources effectively. It's not that I don't have money. It's that bringing it into my life in this way is going to be a different vibration. I'm doing service in a way that I never have before. And then I am going to, with those resources, expand my capacity. And part of that is not doing it all by myself. So if $100,000 in 6 weeks feels obscene to you, that's okay. I understand. I've been there. If you are wanting to step into more abundance, I suggest you let go of that. And one of the ways I'm going to get you to let go of that, or try to encourage you to, is I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with it. And yeah, I'm going to put some of it aside so I can take a few deep breaths and know my basic expenses are paid for a little while. I don't got to sweat that shit anymore. And then I'm going to hire people to help me. I am going to get my studio out of my house. I'm going to buy better gear, because part of the value that I have to offer is that I can share this with everybody. And so I'm going to do my best to share it with as many people as possible. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. Hey, come check this out. I set myself a challenge. I am making $100,000 by the solstice. You're invited to come watch. I think you'll find it edifying and fun. And you like fun, don't you?